of in areas of business, career, personal finance. So yeah, through coaching and mentorship sessions, I had shared my story before of how I got to know Coach Sam. Maybe it was after campus. There in a job search, you have some interviews here, but you don't know how to approach them. How are you don't know how to approach those interviews. So I go and type on YouTube. Okay, like how can you go for an interview and maybe you get a job. So I learned on Coach Sam's recordings on YouTube. Okay, explaining how maybe to present yourself for an interview. Okay, sharing like the practical strategies on how you can go for an interview and you secure your job. So I listened to them and I applied them. Surely I got that opportunity. Yeah. So and I'm sure most people in this club have landed their jobs through maybe the mentorship of the TPC. We have some colleagues of ours. I saw Makanda Stefan updating his LinkedIn profile. He had gotten an opportunity to work with KPMG, one of the big four firms. We also have Wangele Samuel has also gotten a job opportunity, and many others, me inclusive. It's all courtesy of this TPC. So colleagues, encourage your friends, your relatives, to the fresh graduates who have come from campus to join this club. It's really nice. It's really nice. You will appreciate, and if they join, they will easily appreciate this club. So without taking more time, let me join me and welcome Coach Samuel. Yeah, Coach Samuel, you can take over.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Osborne, for that introduction, and also for inviting me to this session.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you so much that you've come through to this session. We are going to reflect on the aspect of public speaking. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a better position such that light is not affecting me that much. All right. Okay. So public speaking, as we have highlighted today, as a tool for career growth. I want to welcome each one of you that has come through to this session. I believe that for one reason or the other, you're here to learn how you can elevate your public speaking journey. And I'm going to be speaking from my story and also see how I can try to share. So for now, we can just have some introductions. Please share where you're joining from and what is your expectation as well. All right, so let the introductions come through in the chat box as we get started. And I also love to know what your expectation is for the session as well, for us to be able to start. So as we get the expectations coming through, public speaking is compared to death, that somebody would rather die than speak in the public. And I just want to first share from my story why public speaking is very critical and what has been my journey when it comes to public speaking. So I started my public speaking journey from high school. And it's not that I was actually a good public speaker. It's just that at that point in time, I realized the need for it. So I joined the debating club to see how I can elevate my public speaking journey. And the reason why I joined such a forum, and you get to realize that public speaking is not just a skill that somebody is born with, but it's a skill that somebody can actually develop. And you only develop it when you put yourself into circumstances that help you grow that skill. And that is how I went on to join the betting club, such that I can be able to get my public speaking journey kickstarted. So these days we have platforms like the Toastmasters, we have Rotaract, we have the Transformational Professionals Club. I believe that people like Osborne, them hosting such sessions is a ground for them to be able to elevate their public speaking journey. Even myself coming through here to speak to you today is also to elevate my public speaking journey, because every day there's something that you learn, and there's a way you master in the way you speak to your audience. So when it comes to the workplace, you get to realize that public speaking takes another position. For quite a lot of people, they're happy doing their work without no one recognizing them. For them, it's about the numbers, especially for my accountants. For them, they're okay with just coming through, do the numbers, submit the report, and get off. But what about you getting to a level where you can actually present your ideas to other people such that they're able to understand you? How about you? It's not just about the numbers, but you can present in a meeting, maybe an office meeting, where you do not just have to attend, but you choose to be intentional to at least come through and share your ideas. As you grow through your career, you get to realize that yes, you can always come through and just do your work. But as you go up, you need to realize that you're going to have a lot of stakeholders. And this could be the people that you're reporting to, management or leadership, but also the people that report to you. And oftentimes you always want to communicate them, share the message, share whatever you need to share with them. And this can best come through public speaking. So for quite a lot of people, one of the things that scares them when it comes to public speaking is what people think about you. Will I really have the confidence? And as I share with you my journey, I want to say that if there's one thing that I've learned around public speaking is preparation, knowing the audience that you're going to speak to. And again, it's also very important that also how you start your message also has a great impact on how far you can go. Now, when you're starting to speak, there's a lot, people have a lot of expectation in their mind. And within about 7 minutes or 10 minutes, they have already made a decision whether they should continue listening to you or they should actually end. So the best ways to start conversations. Sometimes you find that somebody will start with a quote, somebody will start with a statistic, somebody will start with a story. Like the way I'm sharing with you a story, because people love stories. People want to connect with stories because they feel real. So it's quite important that you also understand. But also, one of the other thing is understanding your audience also comes out as very key, as a key factor. So you need to know who is in your audience and what is their expectation. And this is, again, why I was trying to ask you, share your expectation. I see some people here in the chat box. So I would love to hear your expectation. What do you want to learn from this session? Like, what is that thing that you want to learn? And again, I'm going to take you through this journey from the perspective that in your journey of public speaking, you're going to interface different audiences. You're also going to get to a level where this time you're not just speaking, but you again facilitating, or you're presenting. All these things seem to be similar, but they're a bit different from each other. So what are your expectations? And since we want to have this a bit practical, you raise up your hand and you share your expectation. Or what is your pain when it comes to public speaking? What are some of those aspects that you feel somebody who should speak about public speaking should actually hint about? So I want Osborne to just moderate so that we can have 2 or 3 people. And again, public speaking is about developing the confidence to speak up, to share their idea, because I believe that each one of us that has come through today has something in terms of the expectation. So again, it's an opportunity for us to build that confidence. So Osborne, let's just have 2 or 3 people share. Silas's hand is up.
Okay. Colleagues, you can raise up like your hand, and then you unmute, and then you present your expectation from today's session. Anyone? For my end, maybe let me first share my expectations with Sam. May I want to know maybe some of the common mistakes people make while like they're doing public speaking. And then my expectation, another expectation is on how one can monetize public speaking to earn from the public speaking skills. Then another expectation is on, okay, some people are like introverts, like they are so reserved. So I would like to know how like an introvert person can also get involved in public speaking. So those are some of my expectations. Let's hear from some of the people online. You can unmute. Wangere somewhere. You can unmute, and then you ask you okay, present your expectation. People who have just come in, I see people like they have just joined in. In case you've joined in, we want you to give us your expectations for today's session. As you all know that today's session is how you can overcome your fear, and then how public speaking can transform your career. So in case you have your expectation from today's session, you can type in the chat. You put it in the chat, which I will be able to read it for our guest speaker, or you can unmute and then you air it out. Wongere somewhere?
Silas, your hand is up. You share?
Silas, sorry. Silas, you can air out your expectation. And Unia, you can unmute as Cyrus is getting ready. Yes, Unia. I see also Usinje Rogers. Anyone who is ready can air out his expectation or her expectation.
Oh, sorry, I think they're struggling with unmuting. I've given you rights to unmute. You can now unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Colleagues, you can air out your...
Yes, Unia.
Yes, good evening.
Good
evening.
Yes, my name is Unia. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Me, I would really love to learn how to speak in front of so many people, and most importantly, speak and make a difference and get people to listen, because you may speak and no one is really giving you attention. But how do you speak? Usually, I'm into sales. So how do you talk to someone, get their attention within just a few seconds? Yeah, something like that.
Okay, thank you. Any other person? Musinje, you can speak. You can unmute and speak.
Okay.
Musinje Rogers, yeah, you're welcome.
So Musinje.
Thank you, Coach Samuel. My name is Businga Rogers. My today's expectations about public speaking is how to build confidence while speaking to a large group of people. and how to express your ideas with impact, influence, and inspiration. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from Lynette. Lynette,
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm Lynette. And my expectation for today is my biggest fear isn't actually public speaking, but the issue is expressing my ideas like clearly and staying on track without going astray or being carried away, and having a creative way that when I'm to speak to someone, the things that I say stick to this person's head and they can remember. Even after some time, they can refer to me and be like, she said this and it stuck with me. Something that will move change. And usually a colleague of mine usually tells me that when you're ending your conversation or you're ending your presentation, you should end it with an ask. So those are one of the things that I am looking forward to, how to understand to express myself clearly, that even in period of time, someone can still refer to me and see, because I can easily get carried away with the words that I have. I have so many things in my mind. They can end up especially when I get too comfortable speaking, I can get carried away. So that is something I feel I'm looking for. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Lynette. Let's also hear from Makanda Stephen. Stephen, what are your expectations? Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Stephen.
Thank you so much, Osborne. I believe everyone is listening here. I've been having challenges with actually chatting and actually unmuting and all that. When you told us here to chat in the chat box here, we got some restrictions. That's why you didn't see some of us actually expressing ourselves at first. But for the case of my expectations, this is a crucial part for as far as professionals are concerned. I remember one of the moments actually which happened early this week. I had an abrupt meeting somewhere with some big people. And in this meeting, I didn't expect actually to be given a chance to speak at some point. So it came in an abrupt way in that I was not well prepared for this and I had to air out some views. So I felt something which came to my mind. I wasn't prepared. So in this session, I would like to know and really get some good ideas of how someone can prepare for an abrupt speech in such a way. How can you organize yourself? Because if you're called on to speak out something and it's so abrupt, you feel some fear in you. You're going to speak to big people at some moment. So in such a case, I think this comes at the right moment for us as professionals to learn from each other and how we can build up. Those are my expectations. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Makanda. Cyrus, you can air out your expectation. For the people who have just joined in, I see people are still coming in. Today's session is on how to overcome fear when you're doing public speaking. So you can share your expectations in case you've just logged in. Kindly share your expectation.
Cyrus, you can unmute. I'm trying to allow you unmute. I think you just click on unmute. It will allow you now. Okay,
all
it's
right.
there. Right.
Good evening, Mr. Osborne, and good evening, our dear coach, Mr. Samuel Evander. I'm really so humbled to be part of this event this evening about public speaking, where most of us, as being inclusive about public speaking. And my question is that to our coach, what are some of the strategies that one me as a professional can connect emotionally with my listeners. That was my expectation, the strategies that I can put in place to at least get connected with my listeners. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Cyrus. Any other person? I see Unia. Do you still have anything you want to air out?
Okay,
I see your hand is still up.
I think
Is
it's
it
an old hand. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
it's an old hand.
we can proceed with that for now.
Okay.
So all right. So one of the things that I've just done is to give my audience a chance to be able to share expectations. Now, as a speaker, either you're speaking at the workplace or you're speaking at church or you're speaking in a family meeting, it's quite very important that you understand the expectations of your audience, because that means that you're going to speak to their hearts and you're going to get their attention. And it's also very important that you don't just end on getting the expectations, but you actually ensure that you include the expectations within your presentation. Now, sometimes you've already prepared a presentation, and some of these expectations are outside the presentation. So it's very important for you to go through your presentation such that you're able to cover some of the aspects that you've already planned to cover within your presentation. In some way or the other, you'll find that you're going to be able to cover some of the expectations. And then after going through the presentation, come back to the expectations and find out to see, have I been able to cover the various things that I needed to cover in terms of expectations. And then some of those other areas that you may need to cover, you're able to cover them as well in the process. One of the things that also the process of expectation, why it's also very important, is it helps you calm your nerves. Now, every time you're going to speak, no matter how you prepare, there are times when you're going to want to start to speak, but immediately your low energy will come through. You'll feel timid, just like the way you go for interviews or you before large audiences. You feel so timid. We've just seen a lady who was, I think she was speaking at a rally or with President Museveni, and she was struggling in the process. So one of the techniques that has helped me in that process is sometimes just you calm yourself by breathing in. So just breathe in and out. And out. Now, what that does, even if it's an interview, what that does for you is that breathing in takes some bit of anxiety, such that you're able to regain yourself in the process. I've used that and it has worked out very well. Now, for meetings that are, let's say, where I'm going to speak to a large audience, sometimes I start by engaging the audience. So for example, the activity we've just done here is engaging the audience. So you see, when you get to an audience, there's a lot of expectation around the audience. Even if they do not mention this, you get to realize that there's a lot of it. So sometimes it's about throwing that ball to them and asking them questions where they can respond, share with the expectations. In one or the other, their attention gets off you and you are able to regain yourself in the process. So that is really, really, really quite important for you. But also, one of the things, whenever you invited to speak or you're going to make a presentation, I think what is very key for you to ask yourself is, how long is my presentation? Like, how long am I going to be doing this presentation? Such that you can plan your time, because for quite a lot of speakers, you find that they have gone for a speaking engagement, but within about maybe the allocated time, they're not even able to cover half of what they should be able to cover. So it's quite important for you to plan your time such that you know that, okay, this is what I'm going to this is what I'm going to present. This is what I'm going to start. Now, it's very important that every time you're going for any kind of presentation or public speaking, that you make sure that you plan for your first words, whatever you're going to speak in the first activity. And the first activity could be an energizer. Sometimes when you're going to speak to an afternoon audience, you're like, friends, we've sat along for a very long time. Let's just stand up and do some small physics such that we can regain ourselves. Now, in there, you're waking up the audience such that you make sure that yourself you're getting yourself grounded, but you're also helping the audience to stay alert. You know, we live in an audience, we live now in a generation where you find that people are so much distracted. They have phones with them, they have laptops with them, and you want to be able to deliver the message. So it's very important that you come through with something that could easily get them off the distractions. And sometimes, like I mentioned, it could be starting with a story. People love stories. And if it's a public speaking, let's say, gig that you're making, or even just a speech you're making, never, never, never fail to put a relatable story. And I'll tell you that even as I was starting through sharing with you my speaking journey, it's intentional to be able to derive at least an element of story, to just share to the people that whatever you're talking to them that day is not something that is happening for the very first time. Like, there are other people who have gone through the same journey, or yourself have actually gone through the same journey that the people that have come to attend could easily relate to. So that is quite important. So I want now to drive to what I wanted to share with you today. Now, I want to say that there are quite a number of people that have missed opportunities because they couldn't express themselves. When you express yourself, means that you're going to drive attention and you're going to drive visibility. Have you ever gone for either workshop or training where at the end of the day you finish the training and the only people that you could remember in the audience are those that were able to put up their hands or able to share something? Now, sometimes it's not just about putting up your hand to just share because you need to share. But one of the things that has helped me is that whenever you're going for any workshop or any meeting, make sure that you have expectations, or make sure that at least you have an idea or you have something that you can actually add to the conversation, such that when after they're asking questions, are there any additions or are there any maybe arguments on what has been shared, you at least have something to share. And sometimes it's not, it might even be coming from your personal story. Maybe what they have mentioned is something that you relate with. Then there you can actually be able to share one or two things. And one of the key things for you as a public speaker is the confidence, is knowing that I have something to offer. And it's not about being the perfect person who is going to come through eloquent, but having the confidence to know that, okay, I can actually present an idea. I can add value to this. And before you know it, now people are now recognizing you. They're opening opportunities for you. And your name is out there. It's just if you're presenting before a video, let's say maybe it's on YouTube or it's on TikTok, just putting yourself before the camera to just share your ideas. You do not know who is watching, and you do not know. And like I said, this skill is developed daily. Every time you do it, you perfect. Sometimes it's about you getting down to that camera, record yourself, and try to listen to yourself and see what exactly is actually happening, is coming through. Now, in the journey of public speaking, especially in the workplace, you get to realize that it's not just about the message that you're sharing, but it's also about how are you sharing the message and how are you presenting yourself, because they say people buy into you before they even buy into your message. So knowing that, okay, if this is an occasion, this is how I need to present myself, or this is how I need to present my slides, just in case I'm going to utilize slides. Now, quite a lot of people hide behind the slides because they think, if I have these kind of slides, I'm going to put them up and then people are going to see them and think that, okay, I just need to follow through the slides. So you need to get off that aspect of just focusing less on slides, because people, if you want to drive attention, you don't want people just to look at the slides. That's the reason why I'm not sharing slides, because I want you to look at me and see what I'm doing, because sometimes there are things that I'm going to do because I want to derive the message. And as you proceed, one of the things that even helps me in my journey of public speaking is listening to other public speakers speak and see what are some of those things that they're doing that I think could actually be able to drive. Sometimes it's about just even the way somebody's actually using their hands. Because instead of me coming and maybe holding myself or just being in one position, sometimes the way you command a stage is being able to move around, is being able to use gestures, is being there and maybe doing the eye contact with your audience, such that your audience is able to know that you're with them, that you're not afraid of speaking to them. Because sometimes when you're in such presentations, the audience is trying to gauge, are you confident enough, or are you actually afraid of speaking? So all that is being read. And one of the things I would say is that in the process, when you feel like you're losing your audience, again, get back to the same trick. Get back to the audience and say, we've just finished this topic, or we've just finished this chapter. What are some of the questions that you may have? Anyone who may want to have any addition. And before you know it, you have somebody put up their hand, they are presenting, they're adding value to you. You're regaining yourself. You're regaining yourself in the moment. Sometimes it could be a co-facilitator that you're able to bring in, say, what do you think about this? Or is there somebody who has gone through a similar scenario? So people now focus their minds onto the other person now in the audience to see who is putting up their hand towards such a question. And in the process, you're regaining yourself. I want to tell you that there is no public speaker I've listened to, even those that I really follow, that has said that for them it is easy for them every day. Even presidents, they struggle some of the days for some audiences. So if you feel that less of confidence, sometimes it's not that you're not enough. It's just that it's natural, and you just need to know, if at all it happens, how do I handle it? How do I go about it? And when you're able to come to that stage of knowing how to go about it, then things come through. Now, one of the things that I want to tell you, and again, one of the common barriers that some of the professionals, of course, have, especially when it comes to public speaking, is the fear of judgment, worrying what other people will think about you. I usually live by mantra is that if I've been invited in a room to speak, then I deserve and I belong to the room. Sometimes it's not about being the most qualified person in the room, but it could be somebody who has a story that relates to what you're going to share. And sometimes it's about even the way you're going to share it. The fact that you've been given an opportunity to speak means that you have what it takes. And sometimes you've actually taken a lot of time preparing. So that alone should give you the confidence, because you know that whatever I have is something that I've taken time to put together. So it means that I have what it takes. Imposter syndrome, feeling less of others. Again, that also battles a lot of speakers in speaking up, which I want to tell you that you're not less of others. The fact that you have the opportunity, you have the mic, you need to be able to share your unique you. Now, quite a lot of people want to speak like other people. I want to tell you that the way I speak is totally different from the way David Asanga speaks, or Coach Diana speaks, or how Osborne speaks. We are all unique. Some people will speak with louder voices. Some people are so strong in their voices. Some people are just speak with a low voice. But one of the things is, even within your low voice, you're just trying to elevate to and see that your audience hears you, but you're not getting out, because every time you get into an uncomfortable position of your speech, means that it's hard for you to speak for long. But when you come out naturally, means that even your confidence is actually going to be built up in the picture. And again, it is something that you build on every day, every day, every day within small meetup. Because before you speak to a group of 100 people, start with 2, start with 3, and also continuous feedback is very important, because they're what we call blind spots. When you are speaking, there are things that you're not going to be able to see. But there are people that are listening, able to see. I'm going to tell you, you've stood in one place for long. You've not had any kind of movement. Is it possible for you to be able to move? Now, when you're in a stage, means that you have to make sure that each part of the audience is able to listen to you. Now, it's not about moving through. Some people move through the audiences. One of the things they tell you is, do not show your back to the audience. When you're speaking, make sure that even if you want to move backwards, it's better for you to move on the sides, or just move on the backwards, but without having to show, because sometimes you do not want to distract the audience by showing them your back. It's not professional. So understanding some of those dynamics. And of course, I've come to also understand that just like mathematics or physics or whatever, public speaking has its principles. Certain times we think the great public speakers just figure it out, but there are some of those things, like I've told you, how you manage the stage, how you also manage the tone, and then also you manage the pauses. Now, certain people would speak all through without having any kind of pause. Great speakers speak and pause, speak and pause. The pauses also help you with bringing yourself back, because you're not running, you're not chasing something. So you need to get to a level where you know that, okay, I can be able to get myself back in the moment and say, what do people think about this? And this comes with engagement. Again, great public speakers know how to engage their audiences, because one, you're not the best person in the room. There are quite a lot of people, but engaging your audience also helps you calm your nerves. In that process, when you engaging the audience means that you're asking the audience questions. You're asking them, what do they think about whatever you're sharing? That helps you regain yourself. Okay. Now, I want to say that in your journey of becoming a confident communicator, it's not just about, of course, I said start small, start with a small, lesser meetups, and then practice and prepare. So for some people, they want to speak off mind, but that works for people who have practiced, or for a topic that is part of you. It could be a personal story, so you can easily share. But even with your personal story, you find that if you're going to speak off, just off your brain, there are cases where you may not be able to share the entire story within the stipulated time. I think you've had cases where people are given an opportunity to speak and they're taking the entire time because they have not planned and thought through what they need to be able to deliver. So every time you're going to speak, even if you're going to share a given story, and try to think, how long do you think this will take me? There are cases where you're like, okay, I'm going to practice this speech because this is something I'm going to do. So I'm going to set myself and practice and see how it's actually going to go. And this also cuts across also when let's say you're using visual aids. They're what we call visual aids. Those are mostly like the PowerPoints you're going to use, or any it could be flip charts you're going to present. Now, the way you're going to use those things also take time. So you need also to plan your time around that. I will tell you that it is so better for you to come through and deliver, even if you feel it's not to the best of what you would have delivered, but you have delivered it within time. Because every time you're presenting your ideas and you're getting out of time, people lose patience, and even yourself, you start to be on pressure. So it's very important for you to say, okay, I'm not going to crowd my slides. I'm going to have pointers on my slides. I'm going to include pictures. I'm going to include activities. Sometimes even for some of you that have attended some of the master classes, sometimes you even get
colleagues, sorry about the network glitches. Hope it gets better. It's a network issue. Yeah, but as we are reconnecting, I would like to welcome people who have just joined in. Today's session is on from fear to confidence, and how public speaking can transform your career. So in case you have any expectation, or any output you're expecting from this session, or if you have any question, kindly prepare it and have it on your, and then also you can also type it or in the chat. You can have it in the chat so that the guest speaker can see it and he addresses it. So I hope the the network stabilizes and we resume. Coach Sam? Colleagues, can you hear me? Members, can you hear? Okay. Yeah, if you can hear, then that's great. I would like to welcome people who have just joined in. I see new members have joined in. This is Transformational Professionals Club. This is a club that brings together all professionals in different fields. I had explained earlier, they bring professionals from accountancy, audit. We have academia, maybe health professionals, lawyers. So different professionals, we bring them together, and then we share knowledge on how you can transform yourself, how you can river on other people, maybe when you're having a job, how you can progress from one level to another. And also not only relying on the jobs, you are the professional, because you know you can never get rich when you're just relying on salary alone. So you have to be having a side business. So how can you start that one side business? So we normally bring in different guest speakers and coaches to talk about those issues. So I don't know if Coach Samuel is back and he.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
back.
You can carry on.
All right. Thank you so much, Osborne, for holding fort. Again, as I was speaking, one of the things that you also get to realize that as speakers, sometimes we get distracted. So my internet had gone off, and I'm glad that I've connected back again. And thank you so much, the hosts. So hosts are also very important. They are like focal facilitators that help you in those times, whether you need to take a break or you have a distraction that is coming through. So one of the things that I was trying to share is how you're able to build yourself in terms of this journey of public speaking. And I was sharing that in this journey of digital marketing, where personal brands are now becoming very critical and very important, it's very good for you to start getting yourself comfortable before camera, such that you can be able to share your ideas out there in the world, because you do not know who needs your message, and you do not know who can actually be able to get either impacted from your message or could actually open a door for you through the public speaking. So take up the challenge to see how you can bring your ideas. First, it starts from the mindset. I'll tell you that for myself, my journey into public speaking, there are many times that I could really want to speak, but I would really be afraid to speak. Why? Because I felt like, what do people think about me? Am I deserved? Have I put on the best clothes that I need to put on? But sometimes when you focus on the message, I'll tell you that there are quite a lot of audiences where I've spoken. And after you've spoken, the audience, some of the people in the audience are like, wow, that was inspiring. You really shared something that touched my heart. So you find yourself that every time you're on this journey of speaking, when you get yourself to think about the limiting beliefs that you might have, and now start to think of how to deliver your message and start to perfect your message, then you know that you're going to start building your confidence. But one of the things, like we said, if there are things that you feel, because there are things that you can't change about yourself, there are people who just, but their voices are the way they are. They cannot change their voices. And sometimes what you think is a limitation is actually a unique thing that could actually be elevated. And where you feel it's a weakness, the best way again to work on that weakness, especially if it's for you, It could be a stammering, or it could be that you're not stable, you shake when you're speaking to an audience. One of the ways to overcome that is, again, to practice. So practice is very important for you. And again, start with just the little that you're doing every day. And before you know it, you're actually speaking. People are now recognizing you. I'll tell you that myself in the workplace, one of the things that helped me, especially growing my career, partly with the aspect of public speaking. So making sure that I'm able to present my ideas, because you see, most of the times you have these ideas. Some of these ideas are even better than the ideas that your bosses have. But every time you get into the meeting, and every meeting you come through to that meeting and leave it the way you found it, means that you've not added anything. So sometimes it's about having the confidence to say, okay, I'm going to share something. Even if I don't feel like maybe it might mean a lot, but adding. Sometimes it's about even just thanking the speaker, and say, you start by acknowledging and saying, we thank the speaker, or we thank you for the ideas, the insights. I would like to add ABCD. So all that helps you in the process to make sure that you're not just leaving the room without being noticed. Remember, whoever wants to go to leadership needs to demonstrate that capability. People need to be able to see that you can actually be able to speak, such that they can give you opportunities. Because I think it was a question from Unia, who works in the sales. So you're going to face people, strangers, people that you've meeting for the very first time, and you need to speak to them. Sometimes you have forums, like let's say the TPC has given you a forum to come to be able to speak, and then you need to present your ideas, because if you do not present your ideas, means that people are not going to hear you. So I encourage you to first think about yourself as somebody who is worthy to be in the room, who is worthy to speak to other people. And that is going to help you pick your confidence. And of course, you do that continuously as you build your confidence. Now, I encourage you that speaking, like I said, is a journey, but you need to understand the various aspects of speaking. Now, one of my mentees here spoke of impromptu speech, how he was asked to speak impromptu. So there are those cases where you're going to be asked to speak impromptu. Now, one of the things that has helped me on that journey of speaking promptly is the aspect of, you do not have to start right out from the point. Sometimes it's about acknowledging the people that have just spoken, and thanking them as you gain your ground, and also see what are some of this. You read the room. Now, one of the things that I've also come to understand as a public speaker is that no matter how prepared you are, if you get to the room and read the room, and you see that it's not a message that would align to the audience, you need to be able to switch immediately. One time I was invited to speak to a Rotary club. So one of the things I thought that I was going to meet professionals, because mostly it is professionals that are part of these Rotary clubs. Now, when I go to the site, it so happened that the Rotary had invited me to speak to a community. So they had an activity with the community, and most of these people were people who spoke Uganda. These were women groups. These were also youths, and these are people who didn't really, really value the English that I was going to speak. So immediately I switched, and then I also spoke to them. Now, every time I'm invited to speak, one of the things that I ask the person who has invited me is, what are the demographics of the audience? Like, how many people am I going to speak to? That's very important, because the people you're going to speak to means, how am I going to engage them? What kind of activities that I may need to deploy, but also helps you develop your message. So the demographics, how many are they? I also get aspects of, how many females do we have in the room? How many males do we have in the room? Now, I'm a person who speaks a lot around personal finance and let's say career development. So when I know the audience, it means that whatever I'm going to speak also needs to align to the audience. I'm not going to go to women groups in the villages and speak about treasury bills and bonds, because quite a lot of them do not want to know about those things because they don't understand them. So I have to look for what are some of the things that could speak to the audience. Again, in your journey as a public speaker, I want to say that become a subject matter expert. Now, in the organization, of course, you're going to most relate to the things that you're doing. And this could also rhyme also with things that you've had other people doing in other organizations, maybe similar organizations. So a good public speaker is a good reader, because the reason why some people speak and they speak eloquently and they speak insights, it's because of what they have fed their minds. So make sure that you're feeding your mind onto that subject that you want to speak about. So if it's internally, of course, it's about your work and about your organization, about the industry where you are, and all those aspects. If you're a public speaker who wants to speak, let's say, to audiences, versatile as a professional to grow your brand, ask yourself, what is my message? What message do I want to speak? I'll tell you that quite a lot of, let's say, opportunities that I get of speaking rhyme around my message. So people need to know you for a given subject matter, such that they can invite you into that respective subject matter. Even when you're speaking, let's say online, maybe you're speaking through the videos, whatever that you want. If you want to try out TikTok or YouTube, have a message. What kind of message do you want to share? And once you build yourself into that message, every day read about something about that message. You see, when you speak, people will be able to tell if you're a master at a given subject, or they will also be able to tell if you're just a mediocre who just wants to speak. So it's quite important for you to develop yourself every day into that subject. And you see, what is quite interesting is, if you're speaking from an area of understanding, professionalism, you're an expert, sometimes the confidence flows naturally. You just find yourself naturally speaking through. So it's the same thing with even if it's at the workplace. If you know your staff, you've read very well, you know the manuals, you know the policies, you know you've seen what is happening in the industry. If you're in a meeting and they're speaking about, now we have AI, what can we really do? You're able to bring in these ideas. So it's quite important, because every time you're speaking and you speak sense, means that people will actually give you more opportunities to content. You don't just take the stage when you don't have anything to share. And again, I want, like I said, when you're speaking, it's my friend here, David Asanga, who usually says that when you're speaking, there's something called SAM. So there's the message, there's you, the speaker, there's the message, and there's an audience. And he says that the audience is quite important in this whole matrix. You need to make sure that you understand your audience. That's why I told you, when I'm invited for any speech, I have to make sure I understand the demographics of the audience I'm going to speak to. What are their qualifications? What are their expectations? All this is quite important for you as a speaker, to make sure that you're delivering the key message that you want to deliver. I don't know. Are you there, David Asanga? You just want to share on that principle of SAM?
David Asanga, you can unmute. Oh, you've already unmuted. Yeah. Please,
yes,
carry on.
David is one of our mentors in the Transformational Professionals Club, and I just want him to share about how important the audience is. Yes, David.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Samuel, and thank you, the host. Yes, you spoke about Sam, which is also your name. So just to add on to that, Sam is you as a speaker, you as the speaker, S, A is for the audience, and then M is the message. And in this case, if you have a speaker-centered speech, you are just focused on yourself as a speaker, the audience will not, yes, they can listen to you, but you will not connect to them. Think about it. You're just focusing on yourself as a speaker. You are very concerned about maybe your accolades, your position, everything, and you're well prepared to go and speak. They know you, your title. You're just concerned about yourself. Your audience will not connect to you, and you will not make a real impact on your audience. And remember what people say, or there's a saying that goes that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So as a speaker, you don't need to focus on yourself. Public speaking or communication is not just about you, the speaker. Let's talk about the message. Many people are concerned about what am I going to say if I enter the room. Coach Samuel here was talking about he went for a speaking engagement in Rotary, and he had to, read the room. That is very important. As a speaker, you need to read the room. So many people are just concerned about their message, and they are bent on what they have prepared. There are many times we fall into that mistake that we just want to give what we have prepared. You have read, they have told you about the topic. Your host has already intimated you, and you've prepared, you've gone online, you've read books, you've done all the research that you need to do. But I'm telling you, if you just focus on your message, you are not still going to connect with the audience. You need to relate with them, what's happening there. You need to pick up something. You need to read the room. Let me give you an example. Recently, some of you know me here. I'm a Christian. I do some Christian outreach. So recently, I was invited to Ginger Prison, one of the prisons in Ginger. And the person is a German. They do this outreach once in a month or something. So this particular time, they just said, "Oh, you come and be with us." So I said, "Okay." So I prepared, and they drove me, and we went to the prison in Ginger. And they said, "Now you're going to talk to a particular set of people who are already have been given freedom to leave the prison cell." So these people now are already
Colleagues, sorry about that, the network glitches.
I think David, we can't hear you. Okay. Thank you, David. As I think I think he has an issue, but I think what David was sharing again is just to boost on to that understanding the audience. And one of the things I would say is you do not even understand the audience just at the start of the speech, but also throughout as your presentation goes, you also have to keep reading the room. That is why you see, if you find somebody is either distracted, you've seen some of the speakers walk to that person where they are. Sometimes it's just get them alert, or even ask them a question, or even just go see what is actually happening. So you have to take charge of your audience. And of course, like I said, you need to understand. Now, in the workplace, there's what we call most of you are asked to do presentations. Maybe you're going to present about performance. Some of you are asked to facilitate. Now, there's a difference between a presentation and a facilitation. Now, a facilitation, you come through as a subject matter expert. So you've read, you've prepared these reports, and you're going to present. So people are going to listen through. Now, a facilitation, you might be a subject matter expert, but what you're coming to do is you're coming to facilitate the conversation. So what you need to prepare, especially for such, is to see what activities am I going to involve myself to see how these activities run. So it's quite important for you to distinguish between facilitation and presentation. But above everything, of course, the principles also matter. That like some of the principles are the same. And like I said, your preparation is also very, some people may choose to prepare, let's say maybe flip charts because they're going to do some write-ups, demonstration, because you want to deliver the point home. Sometimes you're going to use PowerPoint. Now you need to be able to understand when you need to use some of these tools. Sometimes as a speaker, you also need to, let's say, get to the room early. Sometimes it's just even about you moving around the room helps you gain confidence. But even as people come through, because every time you are late for presentation, it's going to affect even your confidence of how you're going to present. So that's why it's very good for you, just like for an interview, when you get there and you've gotten there late, it's somehow you lose the confidence in the process. But when you go there in time, means that your confidence is actually built in the process, because you'll see people walking, you'll interact with your audience, and before you know it, by the time you get to the stage, already the audience has gotten used to you. But even through the interactions, you're able to pick some of the expectations that your audience might have. So that is very, very important. And then, of course, the other thing is you also need to do is see, like I said, how long is the session going to take? And do interactive session as much as possible to see what are some of those things that I could do that could help my audience keep alert. So that's quite important. So let's see, what have we learned so far? Let's just share within the chat box. What are some of those things that you're trying to pick even as we proceed through the session? In the chat box, just share one or two things. What are some of those things that...
Mr. Coach, I don't know, like, if some people have questions, they can interject in and ask as you're presenting.
Okay, that is also fine.
Yeah, that would be also better.
Okay,
in case anyone has a question, yeah, you can raise up your hand.
Maybe that's Sanga. I think your internet is better now. I want to give you an opportunity again. I'm trying to unmute you such that you can just finish that story of the prison.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know I was off. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Why we're
you're sharing with us.
Okay, so what I was trying to say is the psalm, like Coach Sam was talking about, the psalm, speaker, the message, and the audience. Now, I was talking about the message. When you are focused on your message, it's all about what you want to present. At the end of it, you still don't connect to your audience. So I was telling you a story, how I was invited to talk to some prisoners who were just being released, just to encourage them, to give them some inspirational speech on the fact that they can still, face life and hope again, despite the fact they have been in the prison for years. Like I told you of a very young guy, he was taken to the prison at a very young age, and now he had grown up. He was now about 30 something or 38 years in prison. Imagine, they took him when he was 16 years of or so. And is it 16 or 18, something like that? And now he was already 38. So as I was there, I had already thought of something I was going to share, but I felt I may not connect because it's not about the English you're speaking. Coach Samuel mentioned about those women of Rotary Club. So it's not about the English, the verbose English, the grammar you're going to talk about. Now, when I entered, I saw them seated. They had already told them that, somebody from Kampala is coming. I entered the room. As I was just there waiting to be introduced, I already gauged the room. When I gauged the room, my eyes got to a stick, a kind of cardboard. The prison there is not so nice. So somebody did a cardboard and just designed something with his hand and placed it there. My eye got to that. And what I saw there was, you are not free because you leave the prison. You are not free because you leave the prison, or because you walk out of the prison. You are free because you have made your mind to be free. That was where I got my message. And as soon as they called me, I said, now I dropped everything I prepared, whatever I wanted to say, I dropped it. And I told them, look at that flyer or that cardboard paper. Everybody turn your eyes there. What do you see there? And they began to read it. Perhaps it has been there and they didn't think of it. They didn't give it a thought. I say it's not because you are living here that you are free. True freedom comes when you liberate your mind. Because you can live here and still be in prison because your mind is locked. Wow! That was how I got the attention of everybody. So your message is not actually what you have to kill yourself to do. Even presentation in the office, you have worked on your numbers, you have worked on everything. You still have to read the room. So your message, yes, is important, but it's not as important as the audience. So Sam, your speaker, the audience, the message, but the audience is very, very important. Those are the people you need to consider. You can ask a question like Sam was saying here. Ask a question to relate to them. You have to connect. And before you connect to your audience, there are three things you need to ask. Three questions you need to ask. Number one, what do you want your audience to see? Do you want them to see opportunities? It's not about what you want to say. You can say something, but they will not do it. So to connect to them, you need to understand the opportunities they need to see. You need to also give them emotions. So I think that's where I can stop for now. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that addition. So I don't know if people can be able to chat, but good to share some of those thoughts. I think
Maybe
let me
in
just try
case
to
they are
share.
finding difficulty,
Pardon?
in case anyone is finding it difficulty, you can raise up the arm and then the hand and then present
Yes.
it.
Okay, so as for the moment, let me just try to share some of the takeaways as we get down. So one of the things that I want you to take away from this session is in your journey of public speaking, your audience is very important. Like the way my brother has shared, your audience is very, very important. And then the other is research, prepare. So, sorry for the background noise. So preparation is very key in any kind of presentation. Make sure that you prepare very well, have your numbers, have what will be your is going to open up your speech. So that's very, very important. And then you also, one of these is the power of storytelling. You realize when we invited David Asanga, in the few words he did, he went on to share his story. Stories deliver the message than you can even imagine. So make sure that you prepare at least a story for every speech you're going to make, 1 or 2 stories that relate to whatever you're going to share, comes out very well and will make you an incredible speaker. So, and then of course, make sure through your story, make sure that you have the key 3 parts. What was the challenge? What was the journey? What was the outcome? Or what was the lesson that you learned? Or what is the problem that you faced? What did you do? And what did you learn from it? So that's why it's very important. And the story that David Asanga has shared comes out very clearly. And then, of course, structure your message. Of course, one of the things that I think you've watched those videos where it says, in this video, I'll teach you 3 things that have helped me overcome public speaking. You get to realize that already somebody is already thinking, what are those 3 things that somebody's going to share? So when you start with a clear message, a clear outcome of what you're going to share, the person who is going to listen to you is able to understand what is it. For this session, we advertised it, so we included what you're going to share. But sometimes you don't have to make an assumption that everyone knows what you're going to share. So it's quite important to do that. And again, I said practice is also very, very important for you. Practice as much as you can, such that you know that every time I'm speaking, I'm getting myself used to the process. I'm gaining confidence, but I'm also getting to use sometimes I think you've seen there are people who speak, but they don't use anything of their gestures. They don't use hands or whatever. So you need to, when you practice, you get to learn how to use some of the gestures. I think you've seen people using their hands. Now, it's not just that you need to use their hands. Again, excessive use of it is actually also a problem in itself, but you need to make sure that you balance through. Now, one of the things, the other thing that also want you to live with is the voice. Now, you've seen, even as we speak, you find that there are times where you want to emphasize a point and you say, guys, I'm informing you this. But then there are also times where the message you're trying to present, you have to calm down and say, guys, when I was going through, like when you're speaking something that is emotional, you have to calm down. So the varying your voices also helps you in terms of how you're managing, in terms of how your audience is attentive to you as a speaker. So those pauses are also important. Now, there are people who will speak and speak like you're just singing through. So having those pauses, intentional pauses also help you as a speaker in terms of drawing attention to your message or to whatever you want to be able to emphasize. Now, body language is important. Now, body language, there are people who fold arms will be like this, and they will just speak with their hand, like let's say the arms are folded. Now that makes you like you feel confident, but in one or the other person will interpret it differently. So one of the things you need to know that as you speak, your audience is actually looking at some of those things that may not really be just your voice. So you need to make sure that you also have the eye contact to your audience. Now, when I was starting out, I would struggle to speak to let's say directly to people, looking at them. So sometimes I could look to the last person in the room. But one of the things I also learned is when you develop your confidence and now start to create eye contact, and then you have to move eye contact through the room. Some people have the eye contact and only just focus on just one individual. That is wrong. For you to manage the room, you have to drive eye contact. Sometimes even the person who is distracting the room, when you bring eye contact to them, you get realized that they'll come back to shape. So that is something that is very important. And then of course you also need, yes.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Yeah.
There are some questions that are coming in through. I don't know if I can read them to you. Maybe respond to them as you.
Okay, please. It's okay. I'm happy to respond. I also just put my friend David Asanga, such that he can also be able to supplement. David, I'm giving you more rights such that you can be able to. There was a hand from I think John. So John, you also come through, but over to you, Osborne, such that you can read the questions.
Oh, okay. This is Peter Agomistiliza. It was like, if you're presenting to a high profile audience, let's say you have bosses, are you supposed to pose questions to them? I don't know if you can first respond to that, then we read another one, or I first read them and then
David, could you help me answer that?
Okay. Thank you, Osborne, and thank you for the questionnaire. The answer I would say is yes and no. Yes, depending on how you have connected with your bosses. If you don't have any connection with them, there's no need of posing any question. But also, questions can be in form of rhetorical questions, not needing an answer immediately. Depends on what you are presenting. If you are presenting your office report, I would say you shouldn't ask your boss a question. But if you have been called to speak on something, on a subject, and your bosses are there, of course, you can pose a question to them. You can ask a question. You are the one in charge. Just remember, you are the one in charge. Just that you have been called to speak shows that you are the one in charge. No matter who is there in the room, who is bigger than you in size, bigger than you in qualification, you are the one in charge. So you can pose a question, but very humbly, like I shared in the last session where we had, there's need for confident humility. Confident humility. So you can ask your bosses questions, and they can answer depending on the kind of question and depending on the kind of presentation or speech or the event you happen to find yourself. So that is yes. No, in the sense that looking at the African culture or looking at workplace culture, there's need to respect the bosses. So why are you asking questions? Do you need them to clarify something that you need clarification? Otherwise, I would just say you just give your speech and you call it a day. I think someone can add shed more light to that. Yes,
No,
that's
David,
all I can say.
you've actually shared it rightly. I want to say that, like the way you've said, be confident, but also have respect. So that's why I said when I was calling you, David, to come through and share, it's also more from, I believe that you can add value to the conversation. So it's more if the way you call through your superior, it's more from the perspective that I'll request you to add more voice to this question or the subject, whatever is at ground. So that's very important. Yeah. So thank you so much, David. Over to
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you very much, Coach Sam and Asanda, for dissecting well the question that has been raised. We have another question from Stella Amito Oponya. She's asking, what are the key concepts and principles in public speaking, and how best can someone balance the stage taking into consideration of the target audience? Maybe Asanda or Coach Sam, you can respond to this.
David, you can go first on it.
Okay. Thank you, Coach Samuel, and thank you, Osman. There are many principles when it comes to public speaking. There are many principles. There is no hard and fast rule. Just like where Coach Samuel has been saying here throughout the session, first of all, there's need for confidence. And in confidence, he was talking about you understanding what you are going to present, the subject matter. Are you conversant with what you are going to present? Stella, that's a question you need to ask yourself. What are you presenting? And who is your target audience? Okay, they have called you to talk to, let's say, youth. What is their demographic? What age? Are they 30 years? Are they 19? Are they 17? Are they 40 years? So you look at the group. Now, that confidence is very important, and there are many ways to get your confidence. Number one is your competence. Are you competent with what you are talking about? So competence. Then there's also character. It's a principle in public speaking. Some people want to ask when you stand up to speak, people are asking three questions. Is she competent to talk to me? Now, if you're not competent, they may forgive you and say, okay, is she compassionate? Do you care for the people? Public speaking is not about showmanship. I may come from that point of view. Many people who talk about public speaking, they tell you about how you have to show yourself, how you have to present, come to the room, and you look like a Superman. But I tend to differ. I tend to differ. It's not about showmanship, and I think Samuel bears with me because we share the same principles. So it's not about showmanship. It's about your audience. Do you care for them? They want to see, do you care for them? I give an example of John Maxwell. He was doing a webinar during COVID when everybody was locked down. And to continue his leadership seminars, he did a webinar. And in one of the webinars, people were asked to, talk in the chat box, open their videos and all the rest. Now, one of the persons who attended the webinar was a woman with children, and she was very passionate to attend this leadership, webinar by John Maxwell. And then when it was time to ask questions, she was given, opportunity to talk. And as soon as she was unmuted, her baby began to cry. The baby was making noise, and she felt embarrassed. She felt that, oh my God, look at, thousands of people in this Zoom and all the rest of them, and this child is embarrassing me. Immediately, John, because he was not concerned about himself, about, the likes to himself, he immediately intervened. He said, woman, I understand how you feel right now, that you are embarrassed by your child. Don't be embarrassed. Children are just like that. And he began to encourage her and tell her, maybe the child needs this now. Can you attend to him and quickly, and then you come back to ask your question. When he did that, the woman began to cry. And she said, wow, really? You care about me? So compassion. I've talked about confidence. I've talked about competence. I've talked about compassion. How about character? People look at you because you have the credibility. Public speaking is not about, I want to tell them that I know things. Are you credible? So that is another principle, credibility. Compassion, competence, credibility. Do you know why you are talking what you're talking? Do you live your message? Then there is connection. That is a principle. So can you connect to your audience? Can you look for something to connect to them, depending on your target audience? Now, how do you balance? Like you said, how best can someone balance the stage, taking into consideration your target audience? Now, communication begins from your seat. Samuel mentioned something here that as you can go there early enough to size the place, to size the room. Many speakers make this mistake because they feel it's all about them. So many of them, you can find out, especially with pastors, they come late and they feel they are supermen. The meeting is supposed to start by 7. The man is coming by 8 o'clock because he feels that as soon as he enters, he can speak. No, as a speaker, go there early enough. Interact with the people. As you're interacting with them, you can even know what you have to say and even drop what you have prepared. I'm telling you, many times what you are going to speak is not what you have prepared. Is when you get to the room, you study the room, you look at the people, what do they want? I give you another story. I went to an orphanage home, and they told me that these people are elderly people. But I was mistaken. When I went there, I saw it was children who had issues, special needs. I had to come down to their level. So you look at your target audience with the principles you have. The most important thing is to connect to them. What do you have that you can connect to your audience? What do you have? That is the question I will leave now with you. What do you have that you can connect to your audience to really bring them to listen to you? So the principles are many: competence, compassion, character, credibility. There are so many. There are so many. I can't exhaust them now. In fact, John Maxwell wrote a book, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Everyone communicates, few connect. So you need to think about if you're really connecting to your audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sande. Makanda Stephen is saying a good public speaker is a good reader. Become a subject matter expert. And for me, I would like to pick my question from this statement Stephen has made. Sometimes, okay, maybe let me use an example of an accountant. you can be given an opportunity maybe to present maybe about sustainability. You're presenting to the people, maybe the board or your directors or senior management, to talk about sustainability. And then as you're presenting, maybe you encounter a difficult question, which does not relate to the subject matter, and maybe to relate to maybe risk management. I would like you to maybe shed more light on how you can go about that. Maybe Coach Sam or Sunday, whoever can respond to that.
Okay. You say Asande, I'm Asanga.
Asanga, sorry.
You're giving me a Ugandan name, Asande.
Hey, I'm giving you a Chiganda name.
Okay, you're baptizing me. It's okay. Okay.
It's okay.
That's a very powerful question. Thank you, Osborne, for that question. Yes. How I will approach it this way is if you have been given a subject matter, like you said, you're talking about something and somebody asks a question on risk management or something that is not within your field. First of
Yes.
all, you can ask the person, wow. First of all, you thank the person for such a powerful question. Now you are massaging the person's ego. You're giving them a psychological ventilation on their ego. Now you thank them for the question, but then you are the one in charge. This is one of the very vital techniques in answering questions. Many times there are very tough people that can want to veer you off. Now there are two things you either do. Either you tell the person that I don't really know or have a grasp about risk management, like you have mentioned. I would like to know more. Could you please have a meeting? Can we have a conversation after here? Now you have to be vulnerable. As a public speaker, you are not a Superman. You are not Chakin Chan. No, be
Mhm.
vulnerable, be humble to admit that, oh, I don't know much about risk management. I would love to know about it. Could we have a conversation after this forum? And you hear from the person.
Okay.
Or you also give the person a chance and say, okay, can you talk more about it? In fact, don't even tell the person, at first, you may not even tell the person that you don't know about it. You can very, in a wise way, you can tell the person, tell us more about it. Tell us more about risk management. Now, if the person doesn't know, he will keep quiet. Now, the second way you can approach that is to guide your conversation. Is to tell the person, oh, sorry, we are talking about accounting principles. Could you please keep your question for uh, when we shall do or when we shall be talking about risk management? If it's a one-day program, you can say, I'll be glad to share that with you behind the scene, behind this forum, but not now. You keep the main thing the main thing. The problem is that many speakers don't have a grips of their audience. So the audience take you, before you know it, you are talking about risk management. Before you know, somebody stands up and say, oh, what can you say about the politics that is happening? And everybody now starts talking about politics. Before you know it, somebody wakes up somewhere. My grandfather died in 1942 and this happened, this happened. Do you think that this? And before you know it, you're off. So you guide the people back and say, no, my topic is this, and I think I will need questions regarding accounting principles. If you don't have such questions, I'm sorry, I may not be able to answer that now, but I will be glad to take on a conversation with you behind the scenes. So just to keep your audience focused to what you're saying. This can also be applied to people who are answering questions about people, they call it apologetics, where somebody asks you a question, you throw back a question. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by risk management? Does that relate to accounting principles? If it says yes, oh, tell us more about that in 2 minutes. But you're still in you're still in control. I don't know if Samuel has something to add.
Mr. Sanga, you have brought out the issue very well. I want to say that again, what happens in those circumstances, I would just want to add cases where somebody asks you, now this is a complicated question, but it's related to your topic. I want to say that in that circumstance, like I said, you can involve in a facilitation mode where you throw the question to the public. Because sometimes, like David Asang has said, there are people who ask you questions to test your intelligence as a speaker, even on the topic that you're speaking about yourself. So what you do is you throw back the question to the public or to your audience. And before you know it, another person is picking up the same question and is answering it, or even the person who has asked is able to share some of the ideas. Or say, for you, have you experienced the same? Could you share something about what you've asked in one or the other? Because there is always that moment where somebody that wants to test whether you've researched yourself very well, but show them, like David Asang has said, you're not an expert. You're not the best person who knows all these things. Sometimes there's a person in the audience who knows this, but you're the one in charge and the one that was the audience. So I think that is what I can say. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, Coach Sam and Asanga, for clearly articulated and bring out the responding to the question I've raised. I know we've somehow diverted you. Of course, you had people's expectations. So maybe you can carry on and address people's expectations.
Okay. Okay. That is great. I think I know the time is running short, but I wanted Mr. Asanga, because we have a detailed program where we're going to get deep into some of these things. So I want Mr. David Asanga to just run through our program. I'm going to share it, Mr. David, such that you just take through us on through what are some of the things we'll be doing. Let me just try to see if I can. All right. David, are you able to share on your side?
No.
Okay. I tried to enhance our features just to make sure that we are safe today, but yeah. I think it's also affecting me as well. But you can just briefly share with us as I try to share what are some of those things that somebody should look out for in the mentorship.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Samuel. I will want to invite everybody. I know there's limited space for this this mentorship, but if you can, make it a duty, make it a priority to be around. This is a 5-week training and training program, and it's structured not just to improve your speaking and presentation skills, but your ability to lead as a leader. Every leader is a communicator, and every communicator has to also lead. It's not just reading, but how are you able to lead? Leading with clarity, leading with confidence, leading with competence. So, as a young professional, as a corporate, whoever you are, we have put this together beginning from the 5th of November, just a couple of weeks to be around. So this is going to empower you to lead and speak with influence, positioning you as an engaging professional. There are many people who can speak, but they are not engaging. How do you use your voice? How do you how do you talk with your hands? How do you engage in crucial conversation? Not just speaking on the stage, but one-on-one conversation. How do you speak when the stakes are high? You've been called for a meeting, or you are a supervisor, you are a team lead, and one of your team or your team members have just been misbehaving. How do you call them to really converse with them and communicate with them, and your communication is impactful? How do you express your ideas authentically? Speakers, communicators are authentic. In what ways? How do you manage your nerves? How do you build composure? How do you take control, like we have said now about answering questions? How do you speak impromptu when you go before a presentation, whether you prepared or you did not prepare? So some of the topics which I'll be handling is harnessing your personal speaking skills, the fundamentals of public speaking. Don't take things for granted. You need to be around. How do you understand your job as a speaker and communicator? How do you overcome the fears, the anxieties you have to speak confidently? How do you change your mindset? Mindset shift is very, very important when it comes to communication. How do you craft a compelling message? The first 30 seconds is very important. First 30 seconds, you are already, trying to engage your audience. So how do you craft a compelling introduction? How do you give a memorable conclusion? And there are three handicaps when it comes to conclusion. One, the speaker is tired when he's preparing it. I'm just giving you a tip. Secondly, the audience, they are tired. Imagine that. So both of you are tired. So how do you give a memorable conclusion so that people can listen to you and know that, oh, you are concluding, and they are still engaged listening to you? How do you connect? The law of connection. How do you bond with your audience? How do you greet? How do you get an attention grabber? How do how do you analyze your audience? Like somebody asked the question of target audience. How do you analyze? Very important. How do you handle questions? How do you master storytelling? Very, very important. Many people don't know how to tell stories. There are stories you can tell, your personal stories, other people's stories, brand stories, professional stories. So how do you incorporate your stories? How is your body movement? All these are very important, which I also give certificates to participants. So you have to be around. The price is 400 for non-members, and for members is 300. And I'm sure by now the early birds are over. So if you are thinking of early birds, I think it's over. Today was the day for the early birds to complete their payment. So I'm inviting every one of you. Coach Samuel will be there. Somebody has already reached out to me that she's planning to be around. Please ensure that you don't miss this. We are going to have it online and then physical. So just prepare yourself to be around. We shall give assignments. It's going to be very rigorous. For you to be a speaker is not a joke. It's not rice and beans. It's not even matoke. Okay. Samuel, I hope I've been able to do justice to that. So I'm inviting every one of you, please make it a point of duty to be around. Yeah.
Thank you so much, David. I think you have really presented the details, and I've shared the details within the chat box of our WhatsApp group. I believe each one of us that is part of this group, this meeting is part of the WhatsApp group, so you can try to check what we've shared there, and feel free to reach out to be able to ask any questions around the program, such that we can see. We, of course, we can't learn everything today, but at least we have that program around that we are preparing that could really be helpful for you. I've also shared the link in the WhatsApp that you can leverage on such that you can be part of this. So I want to say thank you so much. Over to you, Osborne.
Thank you very much, Coach Samuel. I wanted
Yeah,
to.
Osborne, sorry. Osborne, sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Somebody asked a question, Makande, Stephen. I don't know. Can you respond to it? Can you read it? I'm seeing something like a question.
Let me check for it.
Makande, Stephen. I think it's a question.
Maybe Makanda is on. He can ask it physically because I can't see it. He
Okay,
can
okay.
raise up. He can speak. He can unmute and then ask the very question. Makande. Makanda, you can unmute and ask.
Steven, I'm giving you rights to unmute. Just unmute
Maybe
yourself.
as you're giving him the rights, there's one message from people who have attended.
He has the rights now. I don't know if it's gone off. Steven, I'm
can
seeing you.
Are you able to speak?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, go on.
Thank you, Osborne. I tapped my question here. Just actually, it was based on a certain scenario where I had some friend of mine whom I knew as a very good speaker at some point and a very good politician all the way from university. And recently, she was one of the people who was given a chance to nominate the president of Uganda at some point. But actually, we are a bit actually frustrated when we saw our great woman speaking. Some words are not coming out, and at some point we had some chat with my colleagues and to draw solutions of what could be actually the problem. So my question was, what could be the cause of this to people whom we think are good speakers at some point, and what solutions can we actually have for them in this case? Because I think it happened to each and every one at some point. Thank you. That's a simple snapshot of my question.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. So you want to take the answer to the person? Or you're asking for yourself in case you fall into that situation? Let me know. Okay. Let me just go ahead to answer. It is normal for somebody to experience nervousness, no matter how great you are as a speaker. Nervousness is common, but how do you manage it? Sometimes it can be there for more than 5 minutes, depending on how you manage it. But you should know that the fact that you mentioned here, the person was even making some pronunciation astray. It's not about pronunciation. Public speaking is not about how fluent you are in your accent, in your pronunciation. There are mistakes that you can make, but can you be vulnerable to use that mistake? For example, if she had made mistake with her pronunciation and she turns it to a laughter for everybody to be laughing, and in fact make it that they laugh at her, that will make you to connect to your audience. So it is common that sometimes you can misspell something, you can mispronounce something, but how do you manage that time? Do you now fall apart because you have made a mistake? Do you fall apart like a $2 suitcase? No, you pick up yourself. You even tell the audience, can you imagine? See what I just pronounced, and everybody begins to laugh. Now, the audience sees you as authentic. Authenticity is very key. Don't try to pretend. People can smell if you're pretending as a speaker. So don't pretend. You have made a mistake in pronouncing some words. It's normal. It is normal. Nervousness is very normal. But how do you manage it in the 5 minutes you have, in the 10 minutes you have? This has to do with gestures. But also, you should know that there are many forces too that fight our speaking. So let me stop there for now. Let me don't go spiritual. Okay, over to you, Osborne. I'm seeing somebody raising up hand. Osborne, you can take over. Yeah.
I think Osborne is off, but
Sorry.
yes, Osborne.
Thank you, Asanga. Okay, thank you, Sam and Asanga, for the presentation. I wanted to read this message from Nicholas Nimwesiga. I think he had seen Coach Sam way back years ago, maybe at Moves. So he's saying, glad to see you transform from the young gentleman you are back in the Moves to what you're sharing to the young professionals today. Public speaking is something we can't run away, not only at work, but also in our daily life. My takeaway and what I believe can be helpful are, of course, he has emphasized preparation. This is usually having an adequate knowledge on what you're doing to present or talk about so that you don't get caught off guard. Then practice. It's very important to rehearse your presentation in front of mirrors or to a few people. I think that was an appreciation from Nicholas. I don't know if there's any other person who has a question. In case you have a question, you can raise up the hand and then you ask as we wind up today's session.
I'm seeing John, John Paul.
Yeah, John Paul Chibingo. Chiverango. John Paul, you can ask. John Paul? Yes.
All right. Evening.
Evening to you.
Mr.
Good evening. How are you?
Okay. My question is, you're getting.
Sorry? John Paul, you're breaking.
You're breaking. Question. In previous question I was asking, I just wanted to find out from Mr. David and Coach Samuel, in case if someone who is intending to become or to carry on public speaking as a career, how best can I penetrate through the space, especially if the space is beyond, let's say, my workplace, schools and universities, where we have that familiarity, where we have that confidence. So, like, how do I penetrate through spaces that are unknown to me in relation to public speaking? Thank you.
Thank you, John Paul. I think Coach Sam or Asanga can respond to his question.
Okay. David Asanga, I know you're a public speaker by profession, so me, I'm an accountant. You can share.
Okay. But you're also a public speaker. Okay. Thank you, John Paul, for that question. Yeah, to carry on public speaking as a profession, as a career, first of all, you have to ask yourself, what's your message? Are you passionate about it? Then you find out what's your message. And how do you want to communicate that? Is it by motivation? Do you want to be a motivational speaker? Like you said now, different universities going everywhere. Do you want to be a trainer? That is also a profession too. Do you want to be what other thing? Do you want to be a comedian? Yeah, it's also part of public speaking. Do you want to be an MC? It's also part of public speaking. And then who are your target audience? Who are you targeting? What kind of jokes? If you're a comedian, what kind of jokes do you want to be telling? If you're a motivational speaker, what kind of message do you want to speak? Is it mental health? You also look at the market. What are people talking about? Is it something you are passionate about? And you can get your message from your experience. What have you gone through? I give example of myself. I've gone through a marriage problem. And so I'm passionate about marriage. So I talk to people about marriage, singles, newlyweds. Also, I'm into training. So I'm a trainer. I'm passionate about training people. So what area? Do you just want to train in public speaking alone? Or you want to train in sales? You want to train in personal finance like Coach Samuel? You want to train in accounting? Do you want to train in marriage? Do you want to train in even in cooking? There's somebody that did an event on etiquette. How do you use your fork? How do you use knife? How do you use spoon to eat? And people paid 100,000 Ugandan shillings to go there, and the hall was full. How do you sit to eat when you're eating with an MP, with a president? And that is all about the person. That's all. So also your topic can be about men. Maybe you've seen that men are not they're not behaving up to standard. What do you want to speak? That's the summary of what I'm saying. So you want to be a professional speaker, you have to understand your message. If you want to be in the area of training, what area do you want to train? Like me now, I love training in public speaking, but you cannot just say public speaking generally. But who are your target audience? Is it the corporates? Is it pastors? Is it Muslims? Is it whoever? Is it secondary school? You have to think about that. And then you build yourself. You read, like we are saying here. You read. Submerge yourself. Read. Spend time to read and understand. Then if you're passionate about something, is it going to bring you money? You have to look at this, what we call, I've forgotten now. Do they have the need? The people who have the need. Now you look at the need. What do they need? Now, you have known that they need. Do they have the authority to pay you? For example, now you want to talk to secondary school people. Can they pay you? Or it's something now you'll be doing free of charge? Now, how can you convert that speaking to secondary school teenagers, pupils, or students that will give you money? Are you going to be partnering with an NGO so that somewhere they are paying you while you're speaking to them free? So do they have the authority to pay you if you charge? If you say now 50K, can they pay the 50K to come for your speaking engagement? So you have to look at that. People who have the need, is the need there? If the need is there, but you don't have the passion, then you'll be frustrated. So you have to be passionate about it to speak to them. Now you can be passionate about something, but they don't have the need. So that is just a hobby. So you have to convert that your passion to see that there is a need, because you are not going to eat passion. This is not passion fruit. You are not going to eat passion. Passion will not bring food in the table. So how do you convert? If you're speaking out to corporate people, they have the authority, they can pay, they have the need. Public speaking is there, or mental health is there, or sales, how to be a very good salesperson. People are going through accounting. So what do you want to teach them about accounting? There are many topics there, many topics. I don't know if I've done justice, because someone can lend a voice to it.
Okay. No, I think you've done justice to that, and we have more in the program. So, John, I think this could be a worth your investment to just join through and see how you can equip yourself. And I want to say that public speaking itself is profitable because there are quite a lot of opportunities around. People are looking for people who can deliver on various messages. So if you put yourself out there, of course, the start might require you to do a lot of voluntary speaking because that's when
Very
people are
true.
able to spot you as a good public speaker, and then building your personal brand because people are still going to see you via LinkedIn, via YouTube. People need to see you speaking for them to invite you as a speaker. So that is one of the things that I would just want to add. But I think you've given all that you need. Over to you, Osborne.
Thank you, Coach Sam and Asanga. I think the questions are done. Any other person with a question? Mustafa with a question. I think this is going to be the last one because time is against us. And so you can ask your question, unmute, and then ask your question. It's going to be the last one.
Yes, Mustafa, you unmute. I don't seem to hear you. Okay, I think I don't know. Yes, Mustafa, you're on mute. Please speak to me. Osborne, are you able to hear Mustafa?
No, I can't.
Okay.
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 Mustafa.
I think he
Yes,
hasn't
yes,
heard
yes,
you.
yes.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
Yes,
Coach
Mustafa.
Samuel. Thank you, David. I came in late, but I managed to get some concepts. But I just wanted to seek your guidance on a scenario where you have just come in for public speaking, and just before you start your speech, someone from the audience makes fun of you, maybe on the way you are dressed, just in a demeaning way. I'm just thinking, I need your guidance on how you can get composed and build confidence from such a scenario. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mustafa. Let me say, first of all, did the person do that for you to know, or you are presuming? Because most times we have presumption, and perhaps the person is not even demeaning you, but you are just presuming. So
No,
that's the
it's
first.
intentional.
Hmm?
Let's assume it is intentional, just to
Okay.
kill your confidence.
Okay. Okay. As a speaker or somebody speaking, you have to be in charge. Now, you should know that there are different audiences. There's an audience that are very tough. They are there to just put you down, but you have to be confident. Now, how do you manage that situation where somebody has already intentionally tried to put you down? First of all, if you are in control, you can request the person to to be sober because you are in charge. You can say, for example, Mr. David, I see you are trying to disorganize this meeting. Can you be in order? And if the person wants to continue making trouble, because you have people like that in audiences, you can tell the person kindly to leave, depending on how able you are to control. But many times people are so quiet, they don't want to offend people. But you can tell that person to leave because they are going to affect the others who have come to listen to you. Now, if the person does not want to leave, just go ahead, keep speaking. You have prepared, you know what you want to do. That's why we say competence is very important. Competent. Now, people come to listen to you because you are good. Now others come to listen to you because you are credible. There are five levels of communication. One is they look at the credibility of the speaker. The other is the competence. Then others look at, oh, we connect to him. We like him because he's close to us. So let's go and listen to him. So are you credible? Now your credibility can work for you. That they have seen you, they know you have grasp of the subject matter. So by the time you begin to speak, you command the room. Your presence is very important. Very important. Now there are speakers who speak, they know what to speak, but they don't command the room. I don't know how to speak about presence. I don't know how to your poise. How do you enter? How do you take charge? That is very important. How do you take charge? There are people, they don't speak very well, but the way they enter, I mean, you could see they can command the press. Even the person trying to look down on them gets ashamed and behave themselves. So, in summary, I would say you take charge and you can put that person to order. There's no harm. You are the one with the microphone. If the person is intentionally putting you down, you take the microphone and say, "Excuse me, Mr. David, I see you are trying to disorganize this meeting. Can we all be together?" And you put the person to order. Don't be afraid. Don't feel bad. Many people are shy to bring a meeting together. No, you are in charge. Samuel has been saying this thing. You are in charge. You are in charge. That's why you have the microphone. That's why you have the microphone. And then finally, you'll be vulnerable. If he's laughing at you at how you dressed, you say, "Oh, wow! So I wore a black shirt over a yellow trouser or a yellow pants. Maybe I'm in NROM." You just bring a joke there. Ah, wow! That means I'm part of NROM and we are supporting this government to be very formidable. You laugh over it, and the person will be ashamed. Or you maybe the way you combed your hair, you didn't comb it very well. So why you just give a story how people forget things, how things. I don't know. But the issue is be in charge. Be in charge. Don't allow somebody to override you and put you down to the extent you lose your confidence. No, pick yourself up and continue. I don't know if I've helped. These
Oh,
things are more practical when we are physical. We are physical. So you be available for the mentorship program.
oh, thank you very much, David Asanga. I think time is not on our side. I would like to encourage maybe people who have joined in, those who are not yet like members of the TPC, the Transformational Professionals Club. This is the club that brings together people from different professions. We connect, we learn, you earn, you unlearn. So it's a full package being a member of the TPC. Our membership is 250, 250,000 Ugandan shillings only, and that's the annual subscription being a member. So we would be glad if we see very many people join in that club because it's very helpful. Me, I can testify it has helped me. Many other colleagues can testify it has helped them. They've also talked about the public speaking program that's coming, that is starting in November. Don't hesitate to subscribe and join in for that program because it will be very, very beneficial. You never know, you can earn your next job promotion because of the skills you gain from there. So for people who would like to join the TPC club, you can inbox the number. I've shared it in the chat box, or I can read. It is 0703 80 32 55. So in case you would like to, if you would like to join the club, you can inbox on that number. Then they shall guide you on the next steps and maybe how you can make payments and so on. If you have colleagues, kindly encourage them to join in. It's very, very impactful and helpful. And at this moment, I would like maybe to have, maybe I can call them closing remarks, either from both of you, from David Asanga and Coach Samuel. David, you can go on first, then Coach Sam will come on later.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Coach Samuel. I want to encourage everyone that there's no how you can run away from public speaking. I've been so passionate about public speaking. I want to help people to be able to communicate very, very, very well. And that's my vision. That's why we're here to help. It's not all about us. It's about helping people. And I think that is the same thing Samuel will talk about. So just keep on practicing, reading, preparing. Don't shy away from public speaking. Don't shy away from communication. Even a wife. Are you a wife here? You need to know how to communicate to your husband. Are you a husband? You need to communicate to your wife. How do you communicate? Very important. It's not just saying things, but have they understood what you're saying? Are you finding a common ground? So I will encourage you for the upcoming mentorship program. Just try your best to be around. You can reach out to Coach Samuel. There's Osborne here. You can reach out to them and see how to be part of it. It's going to be very powerful. I want to encourage you, don't allow opportunities to pass you by because you don't know how to communicate. It's not just about speaking on the stage. We were going beyond that. It's about communicating. How do you write your emails? How do you earn as a public speaker? How do you brand yourself there so that people can know this is what you are doing? Like John Paul was asking. I want to see John Paul in that program, and let's talk. Thank you. Yeah.
Coach Sam, over to you for your closing remarks. Coach Sam, has he gone off? It's a network issue. Coach Sam, I think maybe as he's coming, maybe let me extend my sincere appreciation. He's back. Coach Sam? So I would like to appreciate Coach Sam and I would like to appreciate Coach Sam and David Asanga for your insightful presentation and your time you've taken to come and deliver a message to the young professionals and the people, not the young professionals who have been there. Some people have been on positions where they've been stuck for years and years, but you never know, maybe it could have been public speaking which has stopped them from being elevated to the next level. I think they've picked tips. For me, my key tips were on understanding your audience. That was quite insightful. Then coming up with a relatable story, not to bore your audience. Then having pauses while you're having your speech, and then also the body language as a key factor during public speaking. Because for me, okay, learning never end. I never knew that showing you back to your audience is not good. So yeah, there are many things I've picked from today's session. So I don't know if Coach Sam is back. He's not. But thank you very much to everyone who has attended this session. For your time you've taken to come and attend this session. Yeah, you've really done great. From me to you, it's a good night. Thank you, David. Thank you to everyone who has endeavored to attend. The number for joining the TPC I've shared. I've shared in the chat. I think this is also a message of appreciation. This is an awesome conversation. A lot has been learned so far. As professionals, we encounter these scenarios daily, either in presentations, sharing departmental meetings, or clients. Thanks to the TPC Minds for the talks, always that you give us. Surely, everyone is appreciating. Everyone has gained from this session. So from me to you, it's a good night. In case you want to join, the number I've shared in chat. So good night, colleagues.
Yeah.